was late on a bitterly cold New Year's Eve. A poor little girl was walking in the dark, cold streets. She was bareheaded and barefoot. She, of course, had slippers on when she had left home, but they were not much good, for they were so huge. They had last been worn by her mother, and they had fallen off the poor little girl's feet when she was running across the street to avoid two carriages that were rolling rapidly by. One of the shoes could not be found at all, and the other was picked up by a boy who ran off with it, saying that he would use it for a cradle when he had children of his own.
Thanks for the baby cradle! Ha ha ha! Give me back my shoe!
So the poor little girl had to walk on her bare feet, which were now red and blue from the cold. She carried a bunch of matches for sale in her old apron and held a packet of them in her hand. No one had bought any from her all day long, so she had not earned a single penny. The poor little creature was hungry and cold, and she looked the picture of misery. The snowflakes fell in her short brown hair, but she paid no attention to that. Lights were shining from every window, and there was a most delicious smell of roast goose in the streets, for it was New Year's Eve. She could not forget that. She found a small alley, and here she crouched, drawing her feet under her, but she was colder than ever.
I can't go home. I haven't earned a single penny. Father will give me a beating, and it's as cold as home as it is here.
Her little hands were almost stiff with cold. Oh, lighting one match would do her a little good. If only she dared, she would pull one out of the packet and strike it against the wall to warm her fingers. She pulled one out. It burnt with a bright, clear flame, just like a little candle. The little girl imagined that she was sitting in front of a big brick fireplace. There was a splendid fire blazing in it and warming her so beautifully. Just as she was stretching her feet to warm them, the match went out and the fireplace vanished. She was left sitting with the burnt match in her hand, and so she struck another match against the wall. It glowed brightly, and when the light fell upon the wall, it became transparent like a thin veil, and the girl could see through the wall into a room. A table was spread with a snow-white cloth, and on it was a golden roast goose. It was stuffed with apples and dried plums. Her mouth watered. Once again, the match went out, and only the thick, damp, cold wall was before her. The little girl looked up at the sky and saw a shooting star.
Now someone is dying.
Her old grandmother, the only person who had ever loved her, and who was now dead, had told her when a star fell down, a soul rose up to heaven. When she rubbed another match against the wall, it became bright again, and in the glow, she saw her grandmother standing clear and shining, kind and lovely.
Grandmother, oh, take me with you. I know you will vanish when the match is burnt out. You will vanish like the warm fireplace and the wonderful roast goose.
Immediately, she struck a whole bunch of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother with her. The matches burned with such a glow that it became brighter than midday. Her grandmother had never seemed so tall or so beautiful, and she took the little girl in her arms, and they both soared above the earth, where neither cold nor hunger is ever known. In the cold morning light, the poor little girl was found crouched in the corner by the wall. Her cheeks were glowing, her lips smiling, but she had been frozen to death. The sun shone upon the lifeless child as she sat there with the matches in the snow. One bundle of them were all burned out. The people said she had wanted to warm herself. No one had even imagined what beautiful things she had seen the night before.